Any attack on the Chernobyl NPP or the zone or alienation is not just an assault on Ukraine, but a direct threat to global nuclear security, Ukraine's Ministry of Foreign Affairs stated.
This is yet another escalation of Russia's nuclear terrorism, which has committed similar crimes multiple times in its war of aggression against Ukraine. The world has repeatedly witnessed Russia deliberately destroying Ukrainian cities, killing children, and wiping out critical civilian infrastructure, from the statement of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine on Facebook.
The international community must immediately increase pressure on the aggressor state and hold it accountable for nuclear terrorism.
Ukraine insists on Russia's complete isolation in the nuclear energy sector and the exclusion of its representatives from leadership positions in international organizations. We will also raise the issue of Russian threats to global nuclear security, its manipulations, and pressure on the authority of the IAEA at the next meeting of the IAEA Board of Governors, from the statement of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine on Facebook.
On February 14, the Russian military launched a drone attack on the containment structure of the Chernobyl NPP. Inside and near the structure, specialists of the Security Service of Ukraine found fragments of a Russian drone with a combat payload and serial number. According to investigators, it was a Shahed-type kamikaze drone with the Russian name Gerань-2. The drone struck the roof of the new protective shelter, covering Chernobyl's destroyed fourth reactor. The president of Ukraine is confident that Russia has purposefully hit this very facility.
The drone was flying at an altitude of 85 meters. It is important to understand that radar systems do not detect objects at this height. The strike was precisely on the sarcophagus and precisely on the day of the start of the Munich Security Conference. This is a very clear, in quotation marks, greeting from Putin.
The Chernobyl sarcophagus is a unique structure built after the 1986 disaster to contain the ruined fourth reactor and prevent the spread of radiation. In 2016, the new safe confinement, a massive steel structure weighing over 36,000 tons, was built over the original shelter.
And we see this as a deeply symbolic move by Russia, by Putin. Just recently in Ukraine, we discussed the crucial role of nuclear energy in keeping the country running despite Russia's constant attacks on our Ukrainian energy infrastructure. Volodymyr Zelenskyy, president of Ukraine.
After the Russian drone strike, a fire broke out at the site but was quickly extinguished. According to the UN's International Atomic Energy Agency, the attack did not breach the inner protective structure and there was no radiation leakage, Ukrainian Ministry of Environmental Protection assured. However, the consequences of the attack could have been far worse, said the chief engineer of the Chernobyl NPP, Олександр Титарчук.
If the explosion had occurred 15 to 20 meters in another direction, it would have hit the old containment structure, which is already 40 years old. That structure is now protected by the new safe confinement to enhance safety and prevent the spread of radioactive materials.
Following Russia's attack on Chernobyl NPP, Ukraine's Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha held an emergency meeting with the Director General of the IAEA. Rafael Grossi stated that Russia's attack on Chernobyl NPP, along with recent military activity around the Russian-occupied Zaporizhia NPP, highlights the ongoing nuclear security risks.
These are unlawful actions, to put it mildly. In reality, this is an act of terrorism, as confirmed by IAEA experts. They are currently developing measures to ensure the safety of the site and address Russia's act of nuclear terrorism. We are also involved in this effort. What the Russians are doing, attacking substations that are crucial for nuclear power generation, is pure terrorism. It is vital that IAEA experts have access to assess the damage. They then release official reports and statements based on their findings.
The situation at Chernobyl NPP and the Russian-occupied Zaporizhia NPP will be discussed at the upcoming IAEA Board of Governors meeting, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine said. Reported by Serhiy Kulas, Natalia Husak, Volodymyr Shtangilov, UATV News. At the end of 2024, several cases of damage to undersea communication cables were reported in the Baltic Sea. These incidents caused economic disruptions, communication breakdowns, and power supply interruptions in the affected countries. These cables connect Scandinavian states to the rest of Europe. The issue persisted into 2025, with the largest incident involving damage to a cable between Sweden and Latvia. Latvia's navy promptly dispatched a patrol vessel to investigate a ship suspended of involvement.
Upon receiving the report of the damage, we inspected the area of the possible breach. Our patrol vessel on duty was immediately sent to check the ship near the cable. We conducted an inspection and found that the vessel was headed to Russia, awaiting clearance from its agent to proceed.
Following the Latvian Navy's inspection of the suspected cargo ship involved in damaging the fiber optic cable, Swedish authorities detained the vessel. Shortly after, Sweden's prosecutor's office announced an investigation into suspected sabotage. According to Vessel Finder, the detained cargo ship Vesian is registered in Malta and belongs to a Bulgarian shipping company. A few days ago, the ship left the Russian port of Ust-Luga and was in the area between the island of Gotland and Latvia, when, presumably, the cable connection was damaged. The head of the Bulgarian company that owns the Vesian rejects accusations of possible sabotage by the crew.
The ship was sailing under very poor weather conditions. There was a strong southwesterly wind exceeding 25 meters per second. When the wind stopped, the crew went ashore to inspect for possible damage. They found that the left anchor had dropped, as we put it in maritime terms, and it was dragging on the seabed. It's possible that the ship caused this cable problem.
Minister of Foreign Affairs of Lithuania, Kęstutis Budrys, commented on social network X, stating that it's time to stop believing in coincidence regarding cable breaks in the Baltic Sea. He emphasized the need to revise shipping regulations in the region. NATO has also expressed concern over the protection of critical infrastructure. On January 27th, 2 NATO military ships began patrolling the Baltic Sea as part of Operation Baltic Sentry.
What we at the moment do is deter by enhancing our presence. We are the CCTVs of the Baltic Sea region and we hope to deter anybody who might be inclined to cause unlawful action or damage to critical infrastructure. We hope we can deter them by our presence. But we also track them, we monitor them, and everybody who is wanting to undertake anything unlawful against any infrastructure should know it will not remain unseen and reaction will come.
The European Union recognizes hybrid threats in Europe, particularly in the Baltic Sea, as a pressing issue. During a meeting of EU foreign ministers in Brussels, diplomats agreed to raise awareness and develop strategies to prevent further acts of sabotage. Reported by Serhiy Kulias, Mikaitis Koblikov, UATV News.